three. Boom. Hi, welcome to Control Talk Now, your smart buildings videocast and podcast for the week ending March 12th, 2017. You're listening or watching episode 218, and we talk all things building controls and smart controls. And I am joined, as usual, by the man with the plan, the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Kenny Smyers, the control man from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kenny, welcome to the show. Big dog.
Thank you very much, Eric. It's kind of an interesting day. I'm with you, man, sporting the spring hats. And
let's talk about the spring hats here. So we have a very special guest coming up a little bit later in the show, and he's either from the city of Detroit or Pittsburgh. You have to wait and see. But Kenny's making a prediction. It's going to be the Pirates versus the Detroit Tigers in the World Series this year. So you're right, it's springtime. You're probably rooting for your favorite baseball team. And yeah.
I'm trying to get in the mode because we got a blizzard going on. We got about 6 inches of snow and 3 or 4 more coming. So it's
man. Wow.
So I'm trying to get it over the spring. Get to spring. So we're going to set our clocks back today. Yeah. Or actually did already, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Spring's my favorite time of the year. I think at least I say that when spring comes, and summer's my favorite time. When summer's fall's never my favorite time.
Yeah, but winter's never your favorite. Never your favorite time. So man, you might have to put the hat up and go get a hockey jersey up, right?
Well, yeah, but then I don't know if you guys noticed, but my patch is gone, so I'm healing.
You're looking handsome, buddy. You're looking handsome, man. But of course, your eyes a little dilated, probably like it was back in Studio 54 back in the day when you were wearing the green bell bottoms and the platform shoes.
Different substance, different medicines. But yeah, actually, I did. I have to put this dilation in my eye twice a day, and it still annoys it, and still it's not painful as much as it's just vexing, because the bright light hurts it, and then. But I'm just very pleased. I'm recovering. The majority of my eyesight, not all of it yet, but lesson learned.
Big show this week.
Wear safety goggles when you play any of these racquetball sports or paddle tennis, because it can and will happen when you don't think it will. So
yeah, no. I think the thing that sucks about getting older is you realize that you're not immortal, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I tell you what, it's been a great week. I tell you, it's so interesting to see how much energy there is in the industry, how much information there is in the industry, the release of products, solutions, the change of jobs of people. It's just so relentless. But this week was another one of those ones where we've got global information, we've got local information, we've got augmented reality. We've got the most influential people in the industry, and not just ours, but fire and security. There's something that's going on. We've got meetings going on all over the world, whether it's London, Manchester, California, Detroit, we've got Tampa Bay, we've got Memphis, Tennessee, and San Antonio, Texas. So
So you tell me I need to go pack my bag and let my wife know that I'm on the road again?
I think you're going to be doing some of the Willie Nelson stuff.
Put the Willie Nelson song and rock and roll with it. Well, I'll tell you what, we got a big show this week, Kenny, and we got a great guest coming up. So what do you say we get a couple of the topics going, and we'll bring our guest on here in just a few minutes.
Good stuff. Yes. So, the first post we have up is, like you say, it's an interesting post because it's very professionally done, and it's kind of the first release that I've seen from the CGNA Web Institute's. CGNA Web Institute. That's a cool sounding name, isn't it? But they do a presentation of Schneider Electric's Building Insights, control and management, a game changer for small buildings. They have a gentleman from Schneider, David Moody, who is the national sales manager, and that wasn't right. Let's try that again. But it's just Schneider's got some really good stuff, and they have it's a race to the small space style of it's called the Building Insight. It's pre-engineered modular building automation solutions that utilize secured internet connectivity to bring one-to-many remote locations and customers together under a single cloud-based system. It also is it used to be only available to national account customers, but the solution has been so wildly successful that it's now available on a more larger
scale
program.
Available.
Well, they're saying so we're seeing it come through Controls Group North America distributors, but so any small footprint facility to get visibility and control over the HVAC, lighting, temperature control, monitoring, and power monitoring, this is designed for you, and it's modular installation. So you don't have to buy what you don't need. So it looks like a really good product, and we'll be keeping our eyes on that and reporting as they grow it and it becomes more successful.
So are you saying that Schneider Electric has thrown the gauntlet down and now they've officially entered the race to the small space?
Well, they've always been there, but people don't realize how, Schneider's the big fish, and they bought Viconics, which was a leader in small building applications. The Viconic, that a la carte thermostat concept was enormously successful. Can2Go had a very, very strong product line with the wireless, where they took the in-ocean points and convert them to backnet points. They were the first company that I saw do that, and successfully. So then now they're all part of the Schneider Electric portfolio, and Schneider can go down now and merge these great technologies and keep the synthesis, the synergies and synthesis going, that you can get so much more technology in such a small footprint. So it's actually very potent stuff.
I like the one to many, where it sounds like they got a solution that you set it up on the front end of your national account, got a bunch of Burger Kings or something like that, and then you can communicate with them and standardize them. So that's good stuff. I bet our girl Gina Elliott could tell us more about that. Gina is one of the executives at Schneider Electric that was at the 2016 Control Trends Award. So Gina, if you're listening, we'd love to get you on the show to talk a little bit more about this. And of course, Controls Group North America is the organization Kenny's company and my company are both involved in. It's like 45 of the top distributors on the globe coming together to provide better solutions. And as a matter of fact, our guest is a member. So when we catch up with him, he's a member of that organization as well. So Kenny, good stuff. What do you have up next there, big dog?
Well, next up, again, some of the clinical stuff. We've got Tritium announcing an important change to Niagara for software maintenance agreements, the SMA, as it's called. You want to get on there and read that, because in order to navigate this in the short, medium term, interim terms, up to 10 years, they had to redo the concept, and they've changed it. So if you're in the business and you sell any of the Niagara products that offer the SMA, so if you work with Niagara 4, you have to have an SMA, a software maintenance agreement, and they've changed the time. There's a 10-year limit to December 31st, 2025, which is quite a ways in the future, but there's that's a maximum maintenance period allowed. So then they've also changed some of the web channel restrictions, enablements, and the restriction on stocking enabled maintenance. Due to the nature of the extended maintenance model, Tritium will restrict the stocking of extended maintenance parts. So that's a very important note. And they also recommend, if you have any questions, please contact your appropriate Niagara channel partner.
Well, I tell you what, Kenny, I'm calling out Jenny Graves right here and right now. She's co-winner of Woman of the Year, along with Renee Joseph from Johnson Controls. Hey, Jenny, if you're listening, we'd love to get you on the show, because we want to catch up with you. We know you're doing a lot of great stuff there at Tritium, and our audience misses you. So, Jenny Graves, you're officially called out.
Well, she might be packing the bags to go to London. They've got the summit going on there. The Tritium event in London occurs at the end of this month. So
well, she should be on our show telling our audience about it, because we like Jenny Graves.
I like that. Yeah.
All right, buddy. What do we have up next?
Well, this is kind of, again, we're just this came out of the Ken's calendar portion of some of the updates we did this week, where we see other industries also doing their best to gain parity with the other industries, and the security and fire industries have a very interesting aspect. This is from the IFSEC Global. These folks are out of England, but they're the international group, where they give away £100 Amazon vouchers for the 5 most well-argued nominations for the most important or influential person in the industries of fire and security, and they actually have a great conference too. So you can nominate them. I don't see any reason why you couldn't nominate somebody in the States, because of we have all the we know from the Webb's enterprise security and Vicon enterprise security that you get a lot of cross pollination within industries with the locksmiths and the electricians and the people that put in the access control and wire up the strikes and everything. So we work with different people when you get into a security application, but it's kind of cool that they're taking it to the next level in their industry and giving away awards for the most influential people in security and fire 2017.
We should nominate Fred Gordy for that.
Well, I think it's more of a physical security.
Okay, if you look Major Roger Rebenack or somebody like that. So.
Exactly, yeah.
I got you. All right, Raj, we got your back, buddy. Got your back. Got your back. All right, Kenny, what do we have up next, big dog?
Again, this is an award program, and this is for the AWE USA 2017. Now, this thing here caught my attention because when we were talking, and as we're going to discuss later on in the show, we really don't know where we sit in IoT and how it's impacting us, but we just know we're being, immersed in it, and every day we learn something new about IoT and the impact. Whether it's thermostats that talk to your phone, and the contextualization when you walk in somewhere, it recognizes you, and now your phone's a sensor and it's part of the zoning system. And Comfy does this, and Nest does that, and Honeywell does this. Well, this is even on the larger scale. This is the Augie Award nominations for the augmented and virtual superstars of the world. So they have their version of a Control Trends Awards, and it wasn't until I saw who the sponsors were that I realized the magnitude of the show. This is one of the most extraordinary collections of IoT around the world, and they have a season event going on that happens in Santa Clara, California. But what is amazing about this was the sponsors and exhibitors. The people that are at this show are the who's who in intelligence, from Intel, Epson. It goes on and on. Sony, Unity. I'm waiting to see when we start to see controls companies come into this, and we might see one here. Let me just get down to this one thing, and I hope you guys can see this on your end of the television. Look at this thing. Samsung's there, 3M. These are all the participating technology groups. Cisco,
Lowe's,
Intel, Plantronics, Gravity Jack. It's a who's who of the big Fortune 500s and certainly the people leading in the innovation in the IoT. So if you got time and money and you have a penchant for really getting on top of stuff, you would probably want to go. Bosch is big, Microsoft, Boeing, Epson. I mean, just these are participating companies, so they're going to be there showing off their latest and greatest stuff. And as we see augmented reality become more and more prevalent, as a interface, we're going to see that come into our industry. We already know about the virtual or the remote support for out there in the oil industry. The petroleum industry is really big. The medical industry is real big, and we're seeing remote support coming in our industry. We have a couple of big contractors in the West Coast and down there in the Tennessee area, right? You've actually visited them, where they are doing that actual thing. The guys are wearing smart, intelligent glasses or smartwear, and they're actually getting coached from a single place where he's supporting multiple technicians in the field using this augmented these new technologies. Now, I wouldn't be augmented reality or virtual reality. It would be actual, physical reality. But I just think that this is where that all comes from. This is where it's all going to stem from. This is the
well, it's going to be probably a big part of the smart buildings and what the smart building experience is like going forward. All right, Kenny Smyers, the mystery guest we've been talking about the whole show, is on the other line and ready to rock and roll. So how about introducing our guest this week?
I'd love to, Eric. Despite his young age, this gentleman has been recognized as a visionary. He was precocious very early on in the controls industry and building automation. We're going to welcome to the show here shortly Mr. Scott Cochrane, president of Cochrane Supply, that's headquarters at 30303 Stephenson Highway, Madison Heights, Michigan. Welcome to the show, Scott Cochrane.
Welcome, Scotty Wee.
Hey, thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Oh, man, we are so pumped up to have you on the show, Scott, because I tell you what, man, if there's a guy that's in the know, the smartest guy in the room, well, actually, the smartest person in the room would be Kimberly Brown, but the smartest guy in the room would be you. Dude, we're so pumped up to have you. And I got to tell our audience right now, we're going to let the cat out of the bag with this a little bit. We had talked for years about having a segment with Control Guy X, a mystery guy, and he'd be like in the dark, and we'd change his voice, and he'd give us the 411 on what was really going on in the industry. But now we don't do that anymore, because you know what? Scott tells it like it is. And dude, man, so what's new at Cochrane Supply, man? What's going on? Now we're going to be talking about an event near the end of the show, but what's up with you these days?
Yeah, we are extremely busy. The world of integration is growing rapidly, and many new opportunities this year we've seen than we've ever seen before. It seems like this whole IoT connecting buildings to the networks is becoming, it's something as an industry we made a big deal about for a long time, but now it's a big deal outside of the industry, and now we're getting pulled into all sorts of new applications and business opportunities.
Well, I tell you what, we've always thought of you as a harbinger. I mean, you're a guy that I actually study, and I think if you're a distributor in this industry and you wanted to know what was what, you got to study what Scott did, because back in the day when we're all busting our tails to get people to invest, $4,000 to come to training to become a systems integrator, you're out educating the owners in the Detroit area and getting them, selling them on the values of open systems. And now people are just lined up to work with you because you really got the message out to the owners about why they should think open. But speak a little bit about, because that went completely counter to how everybody was telling us to get into this business, right? You got to go set the integrators up, and we all did that. And it just was like pulling teeth sometimes. But I think a guy like you and Brian Turner were sort of game changers with this, but specifically you. Talk about those early years and sort of what you were seeing and what your approach was, and also why owners should be thinking open systems.
So I think one of the main reasons that we've been successful in this industry now is because real early on we saw the importance of IT and how and the need for supporting it within our industry, being the BAS industry. One of the things that we did real early on is we started hiring IT professionals that were not from the trades. So these would be people supporting computer software or supporting IT networks in general. And by incorporating that type of talent and applying it to the building controls trades, it's helped us develop a unique set of capabilities over the years, which is really that collaboration between IT and facilities in terms of these systems, and these services now that we offer are very unique to that field right now. So that's kind of what we've seen is, and what our advice is to everybody, integrators, contractors, manufacturers of products, distributors, is it's important to have an IT presence now going forward. If you don't have an IT person on your staff today, you're at a disadvantage versus those who do. And that gap will continue to widen, and you'll see it widen over the next couple of years. And so that to me is an important part of this whole thing. So.
Well, I agree with you totally. And, just looking at your site, though, again, it's a fabulous site. And as we go across the top bars, I see that the products and services, I'm looking at the services that Cochrane provides, and I see all this innovation, and I see that IoT that you had just mentioned in this integration. But about our market, we've seen our market evolve from the two-step distribution where we basically were, smart parts, but it was basically a lot of OEM replacements. Life was easy, life was good. As you said, you saw the future coming on early and you prepared for it. But where are we at in a market now? If you had to describe it, are we getting bigger, smaller? Is the market evolving past us? Or and like you said, if we don't hurry up and keep pace with it, the gap will widen so far that we won't catch up to it?
Well, I think where we're at right now is we have two things. We have really the cross of two trends right now, and we're probably right in the vortex of the middle of the two. We have the increased trend of integration and IT services affecting the building systems we're putting in. That's a trend going up. And we have a decrease in what I'll say are closed proprietary systems being put in buildings by temperature control contractors. That part of the business is shrinking. So you're seeing the temperature control traditional business is shrinking, the IT business is growing, and right now I feel like we're right in the middle of that converge where those two are pretty much equal. So those looking for quality IT solutions, open solutions, are about 50% of the market, and those looking for the traditional systems through temperature control contractors, through typical construction methods, are still 50% of the market. So we're right at that tipping point, between the two. But there's no question that the temperature control industry is shrinking, and the BAS integrated IoT industry is growing.
Scott, speak, if you will, to, and again, I think this is one of your fortes, but you mentioned, that trend where the proprietary systems are going down, and I'm going to call them open or IoT systems are going up. Now, we have a bunch of consulting engineers that listen to us, a bunch of end users, and a bunch of contractors that are also integrators. When you talk to a client, you talk to an owner, why open versus proprietary? I think it's we probably know off the top of our heads that, but for our listeners out there who might not know, why would you want to stay away from a proprietary system?
Well, we probably are using the wrong names, really. What it is it's not as necessary. I mean, all software is proprietary by nature. In other words, somebody writes the software, it's their software, it's proprietary to them. So really what we're talking about here is when we put a software solution in a building, is that software supported by a single company in that geographic territory, or is that software supported by a market of companies that have that are able to come in and provide the right services for that building? If I'm an owner and I have to make cost decisions, I have two cost decisions I make. I make my first cost decision in construction, and then I make a life cycle cost decision in terms of the products I choose and what is the cost to maintain it over the life of a building. And what's happened is that the consultants and end users have become very keen to the life cycle cost of a system that can't be supported by a marketplace, of a system where they have to call the same entity every time to get service. And especially when some of these services are critical, like heating and air conditioning, right? And now I have one company I have to call to ensure that the heat's on in my building in the dead of winter. Those companies who I call can take advantage of the situation, charge more money, increasing the life cycle cost of that system for the owner and making it completely unmanageable in terms of costs over the life of the building. And that's why most owners now are choosing open systems, is to reduce the long-term life cycle cost of maintaining that system or that software once it's in, by having a market that's able to support it and improve on it.
Yeah, for many years with us, Scott, it was the branches who typically have the proprietary systems. They can also provide open systems now, but you have to ask for it. But the traditional wisdom was you went on bid day and you make whatever it costs to get the system in, you win, and then you make it up on the service charges. So I think you've done a great job in educating the owners to that risk, if you will, because I think it is a real risk. And I think most people go to the branches because they figure, well, they're big enough that it's less risky if you work with them. And I think that there was a time maybe where that was the case, when the systems were super complicated and it was hard to program them, and you really wanted to have somebody behind you that they could live with the system. But now I'm almost thinking that going to a branch or a proprietary system might be the more risky option now.
Well, I wouldn't say branches per se as a category are a risky option. Every market has different individuals that operate these businesses, and organization's branch in one town can be completely different than an organization's branch in another town. So it's really a matter of the players in these markets, and how, what I like to say is we have some bad citizens in the market. And what a bad citizen is regardless of where they came from, those are people who mislead the owners in making decisions so that they can take advantage of the fact that they didn't understand the technology well enough, or they didn't understand what they were speccing well enough to protect themselves from some of the hidden costs that these I call bad citizens try to hide in these projects. And one of the biggest hidden costs is the serviceability of these systems. And again, if the user chooses a system that does not have options on service, those hidden costs come up and hit them real hard.
Scott, have you had a pretty good success rate with have you had a pretty good success rate with getting that across? Because new construction, at least where we're at, and I think with Kenny too, I mean, it's like, you can say that to your blue in the face, but they still a lot of times are just looking for that initial cost being low. What sort of success have you had talking about the life cycle cost?
Well, that's a great question, Eric. And what's interesting is at the contractor level, it doesn't go very far, for obvious reasons. At the consultant level, it doesn't go very far. Again, for obvious reasons. They don't have, it'd be very hard for them to discern all this on every project they do. So where I'm seeing the difference is the end users. The end users now are figuring it out. And they're demanding change through the construction side. They're demanding it. They're not asking for it. It's my checkbook and I want it this way, and they're doing it. And when we find owners that understand this and they decide to implement it, we're finding that they're very successful in having markets taking care of their needs once they've made that change. It's almost like taking a leap of faith into a new way of doing things. And then once you get to the other side, it's pretty cool. But to make that leap at first, it's very scary because you got this whole group of people around you that are saying, no, wait, this is the way we've done it for 15 years. Let's just keep doing it this way. And, so it takes somebody with a little bit of gumption to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, technology has changed the way we do business. We need to do it a different way. And then when we see that at the owner level, that's when we see big impacts on this.
Yeah, well, speaking of big impacts too, Scott, and then Kenny's got a question for you. I mean, I think Realcomm Ibecon's a great place to go if you're sort of an owner and sort of want to know about the latest in technologies. I mean, we've seen, I think Kenny at the first event we covered, they have a boot camp that real estate people put on that are farther on down the line. And one of the first things that they said at this boot camp, and it blew me and Kenny away, we were so impressed because it wasn't vendors saying this, it wasn't a guy like you or a guy like me saying it. It was real estate people going, the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure your system is open. And this is what open means. It does include the fact that it's got an open protocol like BACnet or LAN, but more importantly, like you alluded to, Scott, you have choice. There's more than one person that can service that account. And so I think Realcomm Ibecom, which, by the way, congratulations. I think you won a big award there last year, so I hadn't had a chance to officially congratulate you on that. But assuming you'll be out there again, and we will too, but I think it's a great resource for the marketplace.
Oh, I agree. I think as you go into those peer groups, and that one is a very good peer group, in terms of they get a good group of contractors, a good group of consultants, and a good group of end users. So it's a really nice mixture of people. And as you start to talk to people from across the country, you find that, this trend has taken grab, this open systems trend, and it is everywhere now. I think another thing feeding this open systems is technology, right? The ability to take the different systems and put them together and have one system, one type of system mentality to go with it is a technology benefit we get by having the IT people involved in our industry. Because what the IT people did was when they looked at these closed systems or these proprietary systems, what we all quickly realized is they're only closed because the information within them is hidden. But the IT environment, they can decipher that code and they made it available to us. And so that really has the ability to integrate these systems has really opened up the systems as much as anything, right? So it's not just about the ability to use LAN, BACnet, and common standards, but it's also the ability to use whatever fits that application the best, regardless of what the protocol is, and that makes your system more open as well, right? So,
well, Scott, cycling back to, like you had mentioned, the IoT, connecting the building, and then what I heard like with Realcomm, because I so totally agree with what you said, and my experience there was that it was eye opening for us too. Is that we were trying to put square, geometric figures into round circles. We did not understand the end user's mentality and what was more important to them. But the diffusion of knowledge that happens at these big shows like Realcomm, Ibecom, and we're going to come into your show eventually towards the end of the show here, is that there's a new way to disseminate information and how important it is to attend these things and really get hear testimony from people that actually have a lot of skin in the game, and hear how they evolved. Like the massive systems integrator became kind of evolved out of that Realcomm Ibecom dimension, and then even the systems distributors and integrators. So I think what's happening is there's a whole new networking of these people that have those measures of competency that you're talking about, that made the early departure and leap into IoT, weren't afraid of it, made the investments, because now it's paying handsome dividends, because at these shows you can go up there and you can literally have an opportunity to meet with the people that make the decisions and influence them. And I think we're steering some of their reliance from the old traditional engineering communities only and branch communities only into the real new people that have done all the work, like you guys. So what all do you have on your agenda? I know you're going to Realcomm Ibecom. What before we get to your show, what else are you doing? Because you're so active in the industry, I don't think people realize your commitment to it. The
one thing we're doing is we are moving forward in developing some new technology that we're going to release at the show, which we believe will enable what I believe one of the places where we're short as an industry is a topic I like to call people in buildings. We as an
Nice.
industry, we commonly think about, what the engineers want, what the vendor, what the manufacturers of the systems want. We think about driving sales numbers and stuff like that. We oftentimes forget that we're serving a customer, and our customer are the people who occupy the buildings that we're in. And so we've been studying people in buildings, and guess what we found out? The number one thing people want to know about the building they're occupying. Do you guys know what they want to know? Number one? Well, after studying them, go ahead, take a guess.
Well, I would say it wouldn't be comfort. It's probably more about the healthiness of the building.
So what most people want to know about the building is nothing.
Nice.
That's what most people want to know about the building they're in, nothing.
Yeah.
Until something happens. Okay?
Yeah.
And then they want to know something. What do I mean by something happens? I get cold. I get hot. I want to turn a light on. There's a fire alarm. Okay? I need to walk through this door that's closed. So now we start to look at things a little differently, because now the building can talk to that person. Now the control system does have some relevance in that person's life. And how are we going to react to that as an industry? I ask you that. We're not. We're cramming graphics and analytics and crap around people that frankly don't mean anything to the people in the building. So we got to figure out how to connect with these people in the buildings. And so we're at our conference this June, we will have completed our development, which we hope will start connecting people in buildings in a new way to the systems that are supporting them.
That is exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And it's something completely new and off the wall. Nobody in the industry has done it yet. And, no one's developing it. So we're pretty excited. We'll be kind of the first ones out of the block with it. And our goal again is to create a better path for all of us to communicate with the people in buildings. And because they do matter. They are our customers. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. Yep.
Awesome.
That's good stuff. Ken St. Clair, Automated Buildings, in this February, March, he's got his finger on that pulse too, Scott, where he thinks that we are avoiding or ignoring our opportunities to communicate with the occupants of a building using social media. So he's spending a lot of time and energy getting some commentary going and some dialogue going with how we can best do that. So I don't want to pry away at what you're going to introduce there, because I'm anxious to see it, but I'm getting it now too. Contextualization. The technology is around us. It's your ability to sort through it and put information into people's hands when they need it, whether it's talking to the thermostat. I just think it's a great idea. I can't wait to see it. So what else? Go ahead, Eric.
I got one for you. Hey, me too, Scotty. Well, listen, I know you guys invested quite a bit of money in your training center up there in Detroit. Tell our viewers a little bit about the training center and what kind of training they can get at your place.
Great. So we have a 15,000 square foot facility. It's dedicated to training. We have two huge training rooms, can accommodate as many as 50 people. We've got great equipment for computer-based training. So we put a monitor in front of everybody so they can see clearly. And we're offering courses on building automation systems, basic electrical mechanical systems. And then, of course, we do offer a whole myriad of software courses for individual products like Tritium, Honeywell, Johnson Controls, Distech, a whole bunch of them. So those programming softwares we offer classes for. Our training, by the way, is open to our non-customers. So if you are somebody in another state and you're interested in just getting training from us, you don't have to be a customer of Cochrane Supply to buy our training. We make it available to everybody, and you're welcome to come. So anybody can attend our courses. Some classes do have prerequisites that are required, but that is really the only thing keeping people from coming to our training. And we now get people from all over the country coming to our training on a regular basis, and we're going to continue to build off of our success there. We plan to continue to develop more and more training courses, and we have 3 full-time trainers and a couple of student assistants, and we're looking to add to our staff. One of the other things we've recently done with all of our training is we've developed assessment tests for the classes that we do, so that people can take the test prior to the class to see if they need it. And also they can take the test at the end to see how well they obtain the material, and it gives us a good checks and balance for their employer to let them know that they took the class and successfully completed it. In some cases, because of some of the training we're doing in terms of programming standards for end users, in these cases, we're able to, by using the testing, we're able to certify that individual now can program according to the standards that an end user may have for programming standards on a project as well. So we're putting a lot into testing and verification right now for our training programs. We believe that's the most important part of training, is to get feedback and understand how effective or ineffective it is. So.
Well, I got to tell you, as great as the training is, because I've been up to your training facility and it's awesome. The other thing is that, man, you don't know hospitality. You come up and you hang out with Scott Cochrane and his team out there. You guys do a great job of taking care of people when they get up there. People often ask me what my value proposition is, because I'm not technical like you and Kenny are, man. So all I can come up with is, hey, I don't drink and I have an expense account. And, you have an expense account, you do drink, and you've got designated drivers. So I would encourage you, if you ever get a chance to hang out with Scott Cochrane, it's the best. But, Scott, there are two questions that people want to know. We're getting on our text line. People are asking, they want to know, is it true that behind Scott Cochrane, what makes you truly successful is Kimberly Brown? And how do we get a Kimberly Brown? That's what they want to know.
Well,
or is she over there on your couch right now?
She could be.
You'll neither confirm nor deny, huh? Kimberly, stand up. We got to make sure you're okay there.
Kimmy, how do they find another Kim?
I'm alive.
Tell Eric's audience.
Another me? Wow. Gee, I don't know. It's pretty tough.
Well, what's your background? How was Scott lucky enough to find you, Kim?
I answered an ad in the newspaper when I was 20 years old for a receptionist job.
Okay, so it wasn't like what's that list called? What's that thing, that social site where you can buy all kinds of stuff? Craigslist. It wasn't a Craigslist thing where Scott was looking for a date.
It was in an actual newspaper.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good stuff. So, hey, listen, while we got you, Ken and I want to thank you again for the marvelous job you did with the Control Trends Awards. I mean, one of the comments we get over and over and over again is just what a great MC you are. And so thank you so much for that.
No problem.
Indeed. Thank you.
It's really fun. I really enjoy it, actually. So.
Yeah.
You make it look so easy, and it's you add a dimension to the show. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
We appreciate that. And, and Scotty does a pretty good job up there too, right? But you're going to have to get Brian Turner under control next year for us. Can you do that?
I learned a valuable lesson: is never give Brian Turner a script
or a drink before you.
He wasn't nervous until I gave him a script and I told him to follow it, and then he got all nervous he was going to screw up the script. So.
Yeah, no, I got you. Well, listen, Scott, you guys just do such a great job. But as a teacher of mine once said, nothing is obvious to the uninformed. We've already given our audience, some resources to go to really get educated and find out what's what. But I tell you what, there is an event coming up in June that I think is the place you got to be. I know Kenny and I are going to be there covering it. Tell our audience a little bit about your big event and your anniversary that's coming up.
Sure. So about 10 years ago, we started hosting a customer event for primarily our integrators. And we did it every other year. And each year it grew and grew. And our last one, which was 2 years ago now, we got over 400 people, which I believe you were at, Eric. I believe.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
Yep. So now this year, Cochrane Supply turns 50.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. And with that, we decided to move our conference into Detroit, where we started. So our annual integrator conference is going to be held June 8th and 9th in Detroit at the Motor City Casino. And by combining our 50th birthday party, this is no longer just an integrator summit. This is an industry summit. This is something that we hope people from all over the industry can come and collaborate and meet. We're going to have all of the large vendors, Honeywell, Johnson, Siemens, Schneider, Distech, Tritium, Dell, Acuity Brands, you name it. We're going to have them all there. We have some of the top speakers, I believe, in the country. I feel honored that these people would even come speak at our conference. Of course, we all know Jim Young from IBCon.
Oh, yeah.
A class act, probably to me, one of the guys who frankly 15 years ago turned me on to integration when Jim used to go over to Asia and he'd go check out places in Japan and China and show us real automation 15 years ago. I mean, that was inspiring to me. Another gentleman on our thing is Paul Oswald, and Paul is probably one of the most successful integrators in the country today. He works for CBRE, and he was also one of the first people to teach me the business of tritium. He was my first tritium rep 15 years ago, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So we're really excited to have him. And then also we have John Sublett, who is one of the first chief architects of tritium and continues to be one of the brainiacs at Honeywell figuring out what to do next. And he's always a good speaker. We'll have some local folks like Scott Collins, hopefully from Bedrock, and maybe some others as well. So we have a whole bunch of great speakers. Our goal is to really educate people about IoT, about what the latest and greatest is in the industry and how to take advantage of it. It's a 2-day conference. And of course, in between it, at that one night, that Thursday night, we'll host our 50th birthday party, where we're going to open it up to all of Detroit. It'll be a huge party, and we just hope as many people who can come will come and be a part of it with us, me and my family and everybody who's helped get us here for the past 50 years. So.
Well, Scott, I'm looking at the schedule, and it really looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. But you've got a lot, like you said, a lot of really, you've got the people in the business that know it very well from the different dimensions. Yeah, Jim Young, what a superstar he is in the real estate world. John Sublett, but. Talk about the breakout sessions, because I mean, for people that they've always got to justify things. I think you're right saying this is an industry summit. This has transitioned into something that's a little bit beyond just a good time. This has a lot of meat and potatoes to it. You have a business track, a technology track, and an education track. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So day 2, we're running 3 tracks. Pretty traditional to our conference. The business track is going to be run by myself and Ed Merwin, and we have about 4 or 5 integrators and end users that we'll be bringing up, and we'll be asking questions. What we're going to concentrate on are real life business issues that integrators go through, and try and help people develop more business planning around how to sell, how to implement, how to manage integration at a high level.
Awesome.
So we got an awesome group for that. Our technology track is going to be led by our chief technology officer, Mike Mitchell, and we'll also have folks from the Tritium Factory like James Johnson. Probably we're going to have who else from James and Kevin Williamson, and another couple of our programmers. And what we do there is those guys will highlight some of the best programming practices that they do, and then they'll open it up to the crowd and let them ask them technical questions. That track is geared towards programmers, people who write programming and stuff like that. And then our third track is our education track, where we're going to have our vendors step up, and they're going to offer different solutions for different applications with their products. And that one will be geared more towards estimators, people who pick products for jobs, things like that. So those tracks run the next morning. And then we have a big open lunch, and it's Friday at 1 o'clock then. So then we cut it loose. So everybody who comes can get on the road about 1 o'clock on Friday. And for a lot of our local people, that'll get them home by dinner time. And so they don't get in trouble at home for being gone too many nights. So.
Nice. Now,
well done.
Will people get a chance to see your dad? I know your dad's going to be there, right?
My dad will be there, health willing, right?
Yeah.
We have a role for him, so we're going to spotlight him. And of course, with the birthday party, obviously he's the man.
He's the man for sure.
He will be the man, so that's the biggest part for him.
Awesome.
An enormous event, yeah, great.
One last question for Kimberly Brown, if she's still there.
She's here, yeah.
Can you have her come up real quick? I gotta ask her something here.
Sure.
So, Kimberly, is it true that Scott Cochrane is the real Slim Shady?
I would not go that far.
Sorry, man. I'm not that cool. Please.
All right. Well, listen. We definitely think you're that cool, Scott Cochrane. So, listen. The place to be is Detroit, Michigan, June 8th and 9th, right?
8th
Yes.
9th, yeah.
8th
All
and
the
9th.
information's on our website, controlscon.com, controlscon, which is similar to like Comic-Con,
Yep.
controlscon.com. And if you can't remember that, cochranesupply.com on our website, there's a link to it. Everyone's welcome to register. We anybody, again, they don't have to be a customer. We're welcoming anybody from the industry that wants to come and learn. They're welcome to come. So.
Yeah, it truly is one of the great educational events. Like I said, Scott, I'd been there, a couple of years ago, and it's like going to a mini Niagara Summit. So you get educated, you get to be around like-minded people, and the industry is changing. I mean, especially if you're a consulting engineer, you want to be here. If you're an integrator, you want to be there. If you're an end user that wants to get more educated, you want to be there. Okay.
And we have 100 IT people there, Eric. 100 IT people.
Nice.
Well, what these remind me of these big events, Scott, is that I read something very interesting where it said you go out in the world and you go out into the business areas, you go out and you network and you collect dots. You actually take them back and then you connect them internally. But to me, this is a benefit where you're doing a great service to people, because the amount of information, knowledge, and networking that you bring together, it's electrifying. A lot can happen to people. So it's a dynamic world. Things happen, but there's no better way to catch up on what's going on in your industry than to attend an event like this. So we're looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, can't wait to have you guys there. So
there we have Scott Cochrane and Kimberly Brown on the show. So thank you guys so much for taking some time to be with us. ControlsCon is going to be the event to be at. Cochrane Supply is where you want to go. To find out more about it, we'll put a link on Control Trends for you in the show notes, so you can just pop right up. All right, guys. Well, listen, thanks so much.
Thank you, Eric and Ken.
Kenny, it was great stuff from Scott Cochrane and Kimberly Brown. So apologize, man. Our video feed went out during that interview. So unfortunately, we did not get to have the video portion of Scott and his team. But anyway, great stuff from Scott Cochrane. What do we have up next, big dog?
Well, next up we have a great Control Trends 2016 post where we have the Control Trends Awards Executives of the Year. And this is one of my favorites. I'm going to take this video you did and move it up a little bit so that we can see who these are. There's you and myself on the stage in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock Cafe. And these are two really impressive executives. We have
actually
Jenny
four
Stentz.
Impressive executives, because we combined.
I was going to bring
them.
Well, the first two were Jenny Stentz and Martin Villeneuve. So they were the large. And then, of course, we're going to have the small. We're going to have Terry Swope from Linkspring. And we're also going to have Mr. Troy Schwen from ACI. So give us one more heartbeat here, and they're going to come up immediately afterwards. But this was so much fun, Eric. I mean, these are the people that make it happen, because it's not luck. It's not. You've got to have dedication. You have to get up every morning and just collect all the variables that are in your world and make them into actionable information that you could take in, and not only do your own thing, but you're leading, a major corporation. You're leading, product development. You're leading, marketing contests against your competitors. So you really got to get up and start early and go to bed late. And these people just impress me. Their leadership is so evident, because the people that support them are so proud of them. They like to work with them, and they just keep growing that team year in and year out. So
yeah, being at the head of these ships in these turbulent times is not an easy job. So I echo what you say, Kenny. These are four great representations of some of the really, really great people and great leaders we have in our industry.
Yeah, unfortunately, Troy Schwen was unable to make the show. He had some very challenging personal family issues to deal with, but our hats and hearts go out to Troy Schwen for the great job he does at ACI.
What an awesome guy he is. He is one of the best. So, all right, big dog, what do we have up next?
Well, next up, we're going to end at the international flavor again. As we mentioned, we are going to be going to Manchester United in May, 22 May. We're going to see the
we're going to Manchester, basically show those boys how to play soccer, American style, right? So we're going to be on the field with Wayne Rooney and the rest of the Manchester United team to give them a little lesson in football, American style, right?
Well, we had been to Real Madrid, and we heard the incredible legacy, story of Real Madrid being the most popular, possibly the most popular football club in the world, or soccer club in the world, only to find out that the richest football club or soccer club. It's the Manchester United and the moneymakers. I didn't realize extraordinary amounts of money from this the soccer event that goes on weekly or bi-weekly. And it's just so it's extraordinary. I went on their leagues. I looked at their highlights, and they had the top 10 soccer clubs in the world, and Manchester United's number one. And I want to shout out to my niece, Gina Lewandowski. She plays football or soccer for the German team, München, in Munich. She has she is now on their banner. She's used to play.
She's on the banner for the team.
For the team, so she really got. They're saying she's the best American player playing in Europe right now. She went to.
And a relative of yours. That's awesome, dude.
That's my older sister Vicky's daughter, and she made the Olympics. She was the 25th player, and she came from Germany, practiced with the team, and then one of the young protege players that was injured that she was replacing got cleared to play. So a week before the Olympics started down there in South America, she got bumped off the team, but she had the full complement of the Olympic dress and everything, because we met her in Cleveland, saw it. It was really impressive. But I tell
you what, you get world champion Manchester United, the most popular soccer club in the world, and who do we have that's sponsoring that event there? An up-and-coming superstar, maybe a superstar in their own right already. Our friends from EasyIO, Mad Mike Marston, Johan Chakalrod, and the rest of the team. This is where they're having their global conference. And Kenny and I have been to these conferences before. And I got to tell you what, Kenny, those are phenomenal. I mean, you learn a lot, but getting to rub elbows with integrators all across the planet, getting educated by EasyIO, seeing this cutting edge technology. This is an awesome event. As Kenny and I said when they had it in Paris, where else can you kill two birds with one stone? Take your wife on a great trip to Manchester, England, and at the same time get to learn great stuff, the aforementioned great benefits, and then write it off on your taxes as a legitimate business expense. You got to go.
Well, like you said, it's a great mixture of work and play, and they're not kidding around. There's going to be a training at the next level for the CPT tool, and also for the Easy Stack. So they're on a roll. As we know, EasyIO Europe has taken the whole product line. They've joined forces with another manufacturer, and they provide sensor to all the commercial components, valves, and actuators. And then we also know that the EasyIO had a tremendously successful year. And in fact, with the Control Trends, they won the Building Automation Plant Equipment Controller of the Year, the Innovative Product of the Year, the Wireless Product Solution of the Year, and Best Technical Support for Small Manufacturer with SK Fu. But they, like the wireless thing, their innovation, the European progress, I think, is a little bit ahead of ours, or at least at our level. I'm not saying the wireless is better in Europe than the wireless is in the States or anything like that. I'm not making a statement there. I'm saying that in our industry, the utilization of wireless has been much more received and has gone through the grueling process of being vetted, proving itself in the field. Our first couple versions of wireless weren't that great, and we learned. People had to do different things. I remember we had a couple parking garage applications where they couldn't turn the bend. We had to put another router in or another sensor in. And mesh worked well, but if you didn't do it right, you didn't keep it right, it could start to deteriorate. But now, 10, 12 years later, wireless is not going to go away. It's going to become more pervasive, and EasyIO is investing all their time and technology to really advance that. So they're going to have some great products coming out here. The FW14 is already a good one, but they've got another one that's too premature to talk to, but I think they're going to introduce it at the show here. That's why I was just bringing that up.
Well, it's cool stuff. Kenny and I will be at the show, so hopefully you can join us over there in Manchester, England. Kenny will show you how to kick a soccer ball.
Oh, man, I can't kick a soccer. I kick a football. No, I played soccer 1 year, and you're the one that's going to bring us on board with soccer, because unbeknownst maybe to many of the Control Trends community members, Eric Stromquist was a standout performer in college. He was a goalie.
I have a record. I was a goalkeeper for the Mercer Bears, and I have a record this day stands, okay? I am the goalkeeper, and not Division I, but Division II soccer, that is still in the record books for giving up the most goals per game. We were awful, dude. My nickname as a goalkeeper was Captain Valium, because our team was so bad I usually had to medicate before going on the field, and tequila and Valium were the thing of choice. But also the only guy who got thrown out of 4 or 5 games for roughing the other team's fullbacks, because I would just attack. I would run out to midfield and try and jump on the ball. But it was not a part of my life I'm particularly proud of, but I am in the record books. Check it out. What do we have next, big dog?
I'm proud of you for being able to disclose that, and not hide from that wonderful statistic. But no, I athletics were so much fun. Just the fact that you played Division II, people don't realize that's not easy. If you go above Division III, you start getting some very, very good people.
We had I think on our team we had 6 people that had played soccer before. And we've played people like Clemson and Citadel and people like that had scholarship to athletes. It was an ugly sight, man. But you know what? I survived, man. I thought I was going to get chicks for that and playing, but
the coach lied.
The coach lied. Yeah, it was actually we didn't have a soccer coach. We had a baseball coach. The guy who coached baseball had to coach us. But the road trips were a lot of fun. I tell you what, boy, we still got people who are in jail from some of the road trips we went on.
Jeez, I gotta tell me more about that.
I'll tell you tell the committee one story. We had this one guy on the team. Again, we had 5 people that had played soccer. Boy, this guy's name was named Junior Corbett, and Junior was the leading scorer on the team. But when he got in the game, it didn't matter what goal he went at. He just, whatever the goal, he didn't play a position. He just chased the ball, and whatever goal he was nearest to, he kicked the ball into that net. So he scored a couple of goals on me. But Junior one year decided he wanted to streak again. He got thrown off the team because we were on a road trip, and he streaked across the highway and jumped up and down in front of a restaurant where the coaches were at. So they kicked him off the team. And then he had, as a protest, we had a home game, and he worked. This guy he was a comedy of errors, Kenny. He worked out a deal with one of his buddies that he was going to streak across the middle of the game, and the buddy was going to wait for him on the other side with a car, right, so he could make his getaway. So we're in the middle of a game. This guy comes running across the field with a mask over his head, right? And the buddy sees him coming up, and as he gets to where he's supposed to get in the car pulls off and leaves. So then Junior got thrown out of. Actually, he went from soccer to drama school. Actually, I think he's a famous Hollywood actor now, but that's a story for another time. But all right, big dog. Let's get to the next one.
Maybe that revelation was his big day, huh? Well, the next post we have is again. These are the favorite. These are the takeaways that really make what we do so much fun and so exciting and interesting. It's the 2016 Control Trends Awards, Building Automation Control System of the Year, and we have Howard Berger and Lisa Woods from Realcomm IBCOM giving out the award with Mark Petak, overseeing the award, and we'll just see if we can get that rolling there. And we see, Johnson Controls just super delighted that they won the Control Trends community, voted them as the Building Automation Control System of the Year, big award. And, Johnson Controls was just absolutely delighted to receive it. And we'll see them come into the camera right now. And job well done, Johnson Controls. Chris Eichmann, Jenny Stentz, and the team, Chris Lane, great job.
It is a great product, and what an honor to have, and a special thank you to Howard Berger and Lisa Woods from Realcomm IBCOM for presenting that award. And one of the things about this year's award, Kenny, that I really liked a lot was people were getting rowdy. They were real excited when they win it. The audience participated more. People were genuinely excited. And when you see the Distech video, boy, they sort of led the way in terms of how to celebrate it in an award ceremony. So we'll get those videos up as we work through the video series with all the awards that were won. And Kenny and I endeavored to create great video collateral for the vendors. And again, a special thanks to all of our sponsors, because without the sponsors, this just does not happen.
Yeah, and to sustain it, we're going to be trying to make the show better, make it more dynamic, make it more germane, keep the eyes and ears on the trends. And then, we're going to do this again in Chicago, January 21st. 2018, we're going to have the 2017 Control Trends Awards at the Hard Rock Cafe in Chicago. So
it's going to be great.
We hope to see everybody there again.
Right. And be thinking about this goes out in the future. But one of the awards we're adding this year is the Controls Consulting Engineer of the Year award. Kenny, as I've talked about, one of the trends, it kind of goes with what Scott Cochrane was saying. There's certain enlightened engineers out there that are really getting it. So we want to honor those folks. So next year, that'll be one of the new categories. And Kenny, you got our next post teed up.
Well, this is our next and last post for the week. It's the Haystack Connect 2017. This was reported to us from Mark and Robin Bestel. She does a great job. Just amazing 3 minutes of what's going to happen May 8th through the 10th at the Saddlebrook Resort in Tampa, Florida. And a little bit about about the unique conference that it is. This is building automation, energy efficient IoT markets have a variety of events, and some of them are under the control of a single or a few manufacturers, and some of them are large conferences where the needs of the systems integrators, technology vendors, and customers are lost in a sea of unrelated products and content. And this verbiage is not an accident. This is an event that directly serves the need of the community that is on the leading edge of applying smart data, smart devices, smart equipment, and smart building technologies to create a more efficient, sustainable world. So there we see John Petsy from Sky Foundry and Mark Peacock from LinkSpring. And I'll tell you what, these guys are passionate about this, and it's a great video because look at that background. That's what you can anticipate. I would venture to say that was filmed last year maybe when they decided on the event. Because it's just so beautiful, warm, and summery, and I'm envying that because I'm looking out here and it's all white. Hurts my eyes to look outside, but John does a good job explaining. So does Mark. These guys are very passionate. Mark is the executive secretary of Project Haystack, and they had a couple of interesting members join. Intel joined Haystack last week. It was one of our posts.
Right.
So it's only going to get more pervasive, and they think that this is one of the great solutions that our industry has the ability to move forward and make life easier. So the more people that get into the Project Haystack templating, the easier it will be for systems integrators to take that information and have it discovered instead of mapped into actionable
the
information.
net result is, and for our listeners who may not know what Haystack is, it's a tagging convention that the manufacturers are starting to adopt. And what Kenny said, the net effect, if you're an owner and integrator, it allows you to do jobs a lot less expensively because you can go out no matter what the protocol is, and you can pull it in and make it happen. And I think that's some video footage we shot last year of the people at the party dancing, because Control Trends is the official media sponsor for the Haystack meeting. Kenny and I'll be down there and with our cameras. And yeah, that's our video footage right there. I actually shot that footage, buddy.
Yep, I remember you there because you just got done playing the drums up there, or the bongos, or whatever it was. Right. I remember that.
It was good time. Good time.
It sure was. And then just another, about Project Haystack organization. It's a 501c nonprofit trade association supported by its member companies, other organizations, and individuals. The event builds on the inspiration and mission of the community to address challenges of making smart device data work seamlessly across applications of all types. So we have a link to the registration. It's going to be a great event, and it's going to be in Tampa. So for all the other people up here in the Northeast going through our little blizzard, this is looking very appetizing.
Well, there you go, Kenny. I think with that, I think that's a good place to hop off. When you say very appetizing, man, you got to get out and get in the blizzard and do some more work. But hey, special thanks to our guests, Scott Cochrane and Kimberly Brown. So sorry about their video portion sort of going down, but I think you'll agree that what Scott had to say is definitely worth a good listen. So our podcast listeners won't be affected by that at all, but our video listeners missed out a little bit there. But with that, Kenny Smyers, I want to thank our community for tuning in. Be bold and stay in control.
Indeed, Eric.
Oh, wait, you can put the thumbs up. Hang on. 1, 2, 3.
Let's do it again. I didn't like that.
All right, here we go. Take two on the outro. This is the most important part of the show. It's the only part I can do well.
Did you see at the end of the video, it showed a damn gymnast split. It showed something on the screen. It was like questionable. At the end of the Haystack video.
We'll make sure we leave that in. All right, so with that, thank you for tuning in. I'm Eric Stromquist. He's Kenny Smyers. Remember, be bold and stay in control.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed, Kenny Smyers.